Hello, I'm Joel.
And I'm Alex.
Welcome to the Commander's Journey, the place where we discuss our favorite format of Magic, Commander, from the perspective of a new player
And an experienced one.
This journey is for new Magic players interested in Commander.
And today we have a special guest.
Who could that be? I have no idea who that is. My name is Marcel MTG on Twitter. That's the only place you can find me now. I used to do a podcast before, which was called Brainstorm Brewery. They are now almost 4 years. I'm almost 4 years retired from that. So, yeah, having a kid changes your game when it comes to Magic. But hey, it's good to be here, guys. It's been a while.
It's been a while.
Really excited to be here, in my opinion.
But now you're brewing in the kitchen, though, right, Marcel?
The kitchen is cooking quite fantastically. And when I get down with the breads, once I figure out how to do breads, it will pay for itself by the years, and I'll say that much.
There you go. Okay, Marcel. So we got a little Q&A for you. And for those of you who don't know, Marcel, Brainstorm Brewery, focuses on MTG finance. So we're going to lean a little bit that way. But first, some nice bread and butter questions. Marcel, what about Magic gets you excited today?
Getting my daily rewards. Honestly.
On Arena?
Yeah, on Arena. I wake up, or whenever 8 o'clock is when the store opens, and I see whatever is the new, whatever daily offerings, and if it's a cool thing, I might buy it, but generally I avoid it. And then I try to get my 4 wins, because I try to get the 250 and then the 3 other 100 golds, and then I quit for the day. And maybe I might hit the daily thing, and that's what gets me excited.
There you go.
Very nice. Especially with all the stores closed, not being able to play Magic on paper all the time. It's nice that Arena exists.
Yeah, I mean, I hate to say that I've always been pretty much a digital player. Like, I played a lot of Magic online, and I haven't played Magic online in several years. I sold out basically all my cards, and I just don't play online Magic online. I don't have the time.
Mm-hmm.
I think it has become I thought Magic Online was going to completely implode, honestly, and I sold out of my cards at a pretty good price, a few years ago, for a few $1,000s, honestly. Like, and I thought Magic Online was going to go bad. It went in the markets currently. There's ups and downs. I believe the price of tickets right now are like below 90 cents per ticket, which is, I think, very not good. But I think a couple months ago they were close to 96 cents a ticket, which is very strong. So as far as an economy, I think Magic Online has been very good. And Arena, I like Arena. To me, Arena is a lot cheaper than Magic Online. For me, the way that I'm able to play it, and I think the interface is better. So I just at this point I just quit doing Magic Online, and I just gone into Arena, and all my investment in Magic is on the Arena side for currently. It's Cube and Arena. Cube is physical and Arena is my digital, and the digital is honestly where I get most of my Magic experience.
Very nice. Actually, Arena is how I started playing Magic originally. The first month of me playing Magic at all was on Arena. That's how I learned, and then my brother and Alex talked me into playing this game called Commander. So, speaking of that, and I got hooked on that. What's your favorite format?
Draft, and probably Cube. If you had to break it down, Cube is the best format, period. All the time, without a doubt, Cube is the best. Now, I would say with the addition of new cards from post War of the Spark, I think those cards have tainted the Cube, and really trying to evaluate how I want to add these cards to my Cube. So I think we're in a different territory currently, because I think if you really break down the power level, there's too many cards that are from the recent sets that are too powerful and that will overwhelm a cube. And I think I'm going to see how things unfold, honestly.
And is that just specifically the hard hitters from War of the Spark, or just the more pushing the planeswalkers in general?
From War of the Spark, there's a definite power level creep from that point forward. Like renowned, most people that have been playing Magic for a very long time has been able to see that as the hard line, where Ravnica or where the Ravnica block before that was definitely lower in power level, and War of the Spark accelerated the hit the foot on the gas essentially. And from that point forward, whatever play design has done from that point forward has been we have more bannings than we have ever had, which personally I don't mind, but it is indicative that the power level has been pushed. And then as I have looked at, say, cards that need to be in part of a cube, or say cards that I would play in Commander, a lot of newer cards are almost must-haves. And in a way, I feel that that's not great.
I getcha. So on to maybe a funner answer. What is your favorite commander, Marcel?
Atraxa.
There you go.
And he's Atraxa. Fuck, and I understand that. And I get it. But Atraxa is my first commander. Atraxa is the card that brought me into Commander. Or EDA, in my opinion.
Hey, Marcel, we literally did a deck tech for Atraxa, and I'm 100% the exact same way. Atraxa is where I came into Commander. It's what got me started with it. It was the first deck I bought. Man.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I like counters. I like proliferate. Yeah, and then her colors are perfect. Like, and it's 4-color. And like there's so many things I like about this card. Like I love it. It's fantastic. Now I need to build better deck around a track. So yeah, I could do better. I had like a good stuff deck, and honestly that was not what it was supposed to be. I don't think having the Super Friends deck for Atraxa is fun for the table. So Atraxa is a very I think polarizing commander, and rightfully so, I believe. A Super Friends Atraxa is not where you want to be at.
Nope.
It's not a friendly environment. And so how you play that card, I think, is indicative of who you are as a person.
There you go.
For sure.
Yeah, we definitely have had multiple discussions about how Atraxa can be really abused or just a fun commander. And it really does vary depending on what the deck wants to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we all have an Atraxa deck here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry. I mean, Atraxa's fucking badass.
She's the best. She's the best. Aside from maybe Kalia.
You like Kalia?
I haven't built a Kalia deck.
She's fun too, man.
That's fantastic. The fact that you're a new player and you look at Atraxa and you're like, she's one of the best. Like, to me, I love it.
Yeah, dude, it's pretty cool.
So here we are slowly getting into more finance questions. Marcel, how has Corona affected MTG finance?
Significantly. There's been price spikes. I know when the stimulus first hit, a lot of people put that money directly into Magic cards. So people were expecting Magic cards to actually dip. And my pulse on the Magic finance community is not as deep as it was once before. But I got a lot of people that have a very deep pulse in it that are their livelihoods depend upon it. So I can pick up the whims and hear what they're talking about and be like, okay, I got an idea what's going on. But yeah, initially there was people were expecting a price reduction, and there hasn't been. And a lot of people are spending more money than they're supposed to, and they're like, what the hell? Why are all these cards going up? It's because people are at home and they got a bunch of money from the government that they don't they don't know what to do with. There's a lot of people in the Midwest that can live on $200-300 a month as rent. And so if you're getting $600 a month as unemployment, all of a sudden you got an influx of cash. That cash will go into the magic market for a lot of people. And it's the same thing that happened when Bitcoin kind of had the surge. There's a lot of people in the magic community that were into cryptocurrency, and then when Bitcoin blew up, there was a number of people that were successors in that, and they then poured a lot of money into the reserve list. So currently Magic is kind of in a weird area because there is for the situation, there's a number of there's a good amount of cash that is being pumped into Magic versus the amount of people that are actually playing at an LGS. So like in regards to Corona, Magic has actually been surprisingly successful. The secret layers have been successful for the most part for a lot of people. So Magic is making their money. They have figured ways to navigate Corona per se, so that it's not a complete loss to them, even though they have canceled the entire professional level Magic for the rest of the year. There's not gonna be a Pro Tour or whatever Magic Fest for the rest of the year, and next year is going to be questionable. Like our industry that it is in general. So the fact that they're able to navigate, and then Arena is being talked about by Hasbro as far as their stock, and their stock meetings, and Arena has been doing great as far as revenue. So I think Magic's in a healthy place. It's just in a weird place because of Corona.
Yeah, and I think too, Commander hasn't been as affected. Would you agree with that? That compared to most other formats, because it's more casual, people can play it at their house with other people at their household. I haven't seen it hit as hard as everything else.
And people Zoom
really helped
that game a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. I believe Magic acquired a company, Magic Table. I'm not certain what the actual name of the company is, but they were doing a lot of streaming. They had a streaming setup that you can do for your Magic desk at home, and people could do streaming Zoom things. And I think Magic eventually Wizards eventually acquired them, and they've been a company for relatively less than 2 months. So, and I've seen some of the setups people have, and people are adapting. And really, that shows how strong of a game it is. There's a lot of people that are now have a camera set up and doing Commander, and they got 4-player Commander, and they're having the best time of their lives. And I think what COVID is doing is causing people to reevaluate how they interact with society in general, and finding creative ways of being able to navigate just being a player. And people are adapting to the COVID things, and there's people that are finding the ways to do it. And I think Commander is the best way to do it because you're able. I don't play much Commander, but I think the strong point of Commander is the table talk. It is having people together and interacting and just being with each other while playing some Magic. And I think you're able to do that at a decent experience digitally. If you have the webcam up, you're talking, maybe you're having some fun, I think you can have a reasonably close to almost 80% Magic experience digitally at a distance safely. And I think as people adapt to that, when we actually are able to come together, I think Commander is just going to explode, honestly.
There you go.
Yeah, I think with our play group, we were able to do that. Alex, you, me, my brother, Randall. And I'm remembering playing and my baby crying in the background, having to jump up. I think you guys just kept going on without me.
That's all good. It wasn't your turn.
Got back to it. But that's a very good point. The table talk, just the interaction, I think we missed that a little bit during this time, right? Where we don't get to spend a lot of time together. So a game like this that we've invested so much time money and energy into, we want to keep playing, and we want to keep playing with our friends and other people, and make new friends. So, yeah.
Yeah, I will say, as far as COVID is, I have had good phone conversations with a number of people, and I think socializing, I haven't socialized as much, but then the socializing I've been done has been more quality. And I think, the same thing with Commander. You have the opportunity of having, it's, it's not ideal, but you can still have a quality experience, and Commander will facilitate that better than other formats in this world that we're in currently.
Yeah, definitely the relaxed, more just playing the game for fun aspect, I think definitely helps. Marcel, when did MTG finance become important to you personally?
I mean, from the start, when I look back, honestly, it, if I were to dive deep from back in the 90s, Magic Finance was very important because I understood the value of cards. When I remember buying a box of Chronicles when Chronicles came out, and that was a very, very big deal, and I thought it was fantastic. And I didn't realize till later that it actually ruined the game. um, and created the reserve list, which we all hate.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I would say Magic Finance has been a part of just Magic, because Magic Finance is a part of Magic. I think is what I don't like about Magic Finance is people that treat it like a stock exchange, and treat it as a job. I get it. I understand. It's nothing against dealers. I respect dealers, and I respect people that make that a true profession. But people that treat it like a stock exchange or like a stock market or a portfolio, I have it leaves a bad taste in my mouth. But I understand it, because I mean, it's hard for people to fight that temptation, I guess.
Yeah.
So if it's something that interests you at the get go, for newer players right now, if you were to give advice, say after, I guess, buying a pre-con, what would be efficient use of money for newer players?
Yeah, newer Commander players.
Do not buy standard cards. Wait till rotation. But the game has changed. That used to be an adage. You'd be like, if you want to worry about cards that are going to go for long term, and a lot of Commander players are in an internal format essentially, don't buy standard cards, because standard cards have a tendency to drop. Well, expensive standard cards, the cards that are playable, that are in the tier 1 decks, they are more expensive than they should be, and you could probably build a better Commander deck not including that. It's good when the price drops, buy the card, but in the meantime, don't buy the cards that are the new hype. Just buy cards that are more synergistic for your deck. Synergy is very strong, and when you have a very synergistic deck, all of a sudden those expensive cards don't matter. There's a number of staples in Commander. You have to get your staples, and I don't like that part of it, but whatever. Beyond that, you can have a cheap deck.
Gotcha. And speaking of staples, do you have any specific singles that newer players should maybe look at purchasing?
No, I don't.
Gotcha.
Real estate, period. I suggest everyone purchase real estate and sit on it, because it does not go bad. Dual lands, they may go down because they got reprinted on the current set. If you bought temples, and they got reprinted the second time, which I had a bunch of them from the old.
I don't think it's been reprinted twice. I think it's been 3 or 4 times now. It's a little scary.
I think no, this is the third reprint for a number of them. All the temples got reprinted. The temples didn't get reprinted until this set, I believe.
No, it was reprinted in
At least twice during my career, which is only a year old.
That's what I'm saying.
Sorry.
Yeah, you're good.
My pulse is not as Yeah.
I even joked with Joel off camera that I was surprised that they reprinted them again because I felt like they just did. And there's so many dual lands that I'd rather them do than temples. I was feeling a little bumming.
I didn't like the temples, but I understand it. To me, I think the temples are the smarter choice for the core set reprint. Um, in general, I think temples are very good card dual land that comes into play tapped. The scry, people don't. A lot of new players don't understand the power of that scry, and the scry could be good. The problem is, it's very bad. It's not a good card for aggressive decks. And we have a number of aggressive decks in standard currently, which are quite aggressive. So I don't think the temples are the best cards for the format, but at the same time, maybe they are the best cards for the format.
They had to play it safe somewhere. And they weren't doing it anywhere else but there. So we're also maybe looking at bigger purchases. If you had to pick a set for newer players to purchase, any individual set, what would it be?
I would buy every brand new commander set that comes out. Buy the four, whatever the packs are. You can find them as a bulk discount on eBay or like Mass Drop or whatever it is. Whatever the current year the commander decks are, I would buy those. After a few years, you may have a number of repeats if you keep doing that every year. But I think if you buy at the bare minimum those every year, you will have enough decent cards in your commander decks as a new player to be at a stable base. And I think they throw enough reprints that are staples in those sets that you'll have enough cards that you can build the decks that you want to build. But beyond that, I would say for newer players, don't buy boxes expecting you're going to get exactly what you want. Boxes, I would think booster boxes are a good investment. They're not bad, but you are playing a lottery card, so your expectations should be tempered by that. If you're able to temper your expectations, I don't think you'll be disappointed by buying a booster box generally and then, say, cracking the packs or even doing a draft and cracking the packs. I think you might have a good experience. And instant collections are not necessarily bad. You can find a number of those on eBay, which are people that will provide you with a number of bulk rares or bulk in general for set price. You can buy bulk cards, for several thousand. You can buy 1,000 bulk cards for I think $3 or $4 currently is what it is per 1,000. So you can do Craigslist, say, hey, I want to buy bulk, and you get a bunch of comments, and that's that. Honestly, if you really want the cheapest way to build a collection is that way, is buying from other people on Craigslist. But if you don't know, if you really are new, there's people that can fleece you if you don't know what's going on. So, I would be wary if you were new in that market, because unless you know, they could give you a bunch of crap for a higher price than you should spend, and that might taint your experience.
Yeah, I like the idea of buying the actual commander sets, because even if you don't end up playing all those commanders, like they don't interest you, you like you said, there's a lot of staples, a lot of good cards you're building, and you might find a commander later on and be like, I want these cards, and you got cards in those sets that are part of that color identity or part of that strategy. You can just pull from there.
Yeah, I know exactly. The Jeskai commander deck that got printed just now. That one, if you happen to catch it before it got all spoiled, the price just skyrocketed afterwards. I think it's at least double what it is just because of one card.
Yeah, and you'll be able to find those deals at the beginning when it first released. There'll be a number of stores that are trying to just dump it, and so you can find a set price if you shop around.
Yeah,
and every year you can find something. It's like even one of the years I bought from Star City Games directly, which was the commander sets, and it was like $20 a commander. It was like 4 of them. It was like $80, $10 shipping, and I was like, I'm in. Not a problem. This is what I'm gonna get.
Fantastic deal. Holy cow.
You thought you got a good deal?
I thought I got a good deal this time. I had the same thing this time, Marcel. I thought I got a good deal. I paid like 155, 160 for all 5, and I thought I scored, but boy, is that a winner!
Yeah, it was at Star City. So like, yeah, this shop around, you know, you could be surprised where you find a discount, but you're more likely to find that discount, say, not when it's first announced, but maybe when it's first released, or roughly within the 2-week period between it's released and when, and you know, you can shop around and find a decent price, I think.
So, I heard you guys talk about the reserve list. So for us newer players, what is this reserve list you guys talk about?
So, there was a set that was called Chronicles. This was in the 90s, I think 98. I can't remember exactly, but essentially the entire set was all reprints from older cards. They had what to me that was the highlight, where they had all the Elder Dragons like Nicol Bolas, and it caused such a, from what I understand, I was not deep in the Magic community at the time, but there's people that I know that were, and it caused such an outrage from people that were invested into Magic cards that Wizards had to create a statement saying these cards that we are putting on the reserve list will not be reprinted in tournament sets from this point forward. And there was a number of cards that were added. Some of the notables are, you know, like the Moxes, the Power 9, and the dual lands from, you know, Alpha and Beta. And there's some other cards that are on the reserve list that are definitely there. But the reserve list has been stated as by many people in WotC as a mistake. But because it is what it is, they're not going to back on it. Well, you know, currently. And so now we have a number of cards that cannot be reprinted. And due to that scarcity, you see price spikes.
Speaking of price spikes, I noted recently spikes in prices for notable reserved list cards. I had a buddy send me stuff for Gaia's Cradle, and then I saw a number of others that was happening with, and I was wondering if you knew why. You might have already answered this.
Well, so the Gaia's Cradle thing, from what I understand, was there was a content creator that was hyped it up per se, or brought attention to the situation when it wasn't what it was. There are people that are able to use TCG Player, which is one of the marketplaces for Magic cards, and some people can manipulate the market by placing a card at a higher price, and some people were placing a card at, like, you know, multiple $1,000s, and due to the algorithm, it causes the price of the card to go up, and then they could sell cards that are more reasonably priced, but at closer to the new spiked price. And essentially that's what happened with Gaia's Cradle. But there's a number of people that were into Magic Finance that saw that and then bought into that. And so I think Gaia's Cradle's price may now be sticky, which is bad. And it's sad in all aspects of the situation. So it wasn't a natural spike, but I think the price is now sticky, which is just part of where Magic Finance can be kind of weird.
So for your newer players, don't buy a Gaia's Cradle. Buy, what's that? Itlamog?
Iklamok, yes. Itlamok, the poor man's version.
Yeah, I would even advocate that in Commander, you can play that card pre-flip.
There you go.
You know, and I want to point out too, it's a little hard as a newer player, and I came in way behind the reserve list, way after Marcel did, where the reserve list is really hard on newer players because it kind of feels like the boat already left without you, and you're not on it, and you don't even get to experience that.
Well, for me, I mean, I would go to play some games and people pull out a Gaia's Cradle or pull out, you know, these cards that are worth a few $100. I'm not going to buy cards like that right now for my deck. But when Mystery Boosters came out, I ended up pulling a Mana Crypt. So I was like, well, should I just sell this and buy other cards? And I never did. So I just stuck it in a deck, and I'm like, I got one. Yeah. Off the gamble of opening a box.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's fantastic, and honestly, that's the best thing is like getting those type of cards. And what you're saying, should I sell this? I think you should. But Mana Crypt is a card that's going to retain value over time considerably. So holding on to it is not necessarily a bad thing. The reserve list. So I've had in-length conversations with people that are invested in keeping the reserve list, and we have butted heads. And I've had very philosophical discussions about this. I am very against it, but at the so speaking from the devil advocate side, you're not missing out too much by not being able to play these cards. The dual lands are probably the most impactful, so those are kind of a pain in the ass, especially in Commander. But you have a number of additional options where the dual lands are not necessarily going to make or break your deck. It'd be very nice to be able to have them and include them without having to break a budget, but we'll see how that plays. Dual lands are probably the most, for Commander players, dual lands are the things that are most impactful in terms of what could be added to your deck. There's some other powerful cards that are on the reserve list that are ridiculously pricey, like Gaia's Cradle, and some other cards. You're all right with not necessarily having them, I think you could build a decent deck without necessarily having that 1 or 2, 3 cards that are on reserve list that are very powerful. And I think you could find alternatives. And honestly, that's what people do. That's what people have been doing in Magic, and that's what you got to do to survive.
There you go. So speaking of reprints, not reprints, Double Masters just came out. We want to pick your brain. What's your opinion on Double Masters?
I'm not spending any money on Double Masters due to COVID-19. I would. I think, and from what I'm seeing right now, is the absolute best time to buy in. If you're going to buy any cards from Double Masters, especially say the full art extended cards currently, there's a number of them that are quite good. Right now is the time to buy. Right now, because of the most supply. They're being opened, the market is flooded, and they will just go up over time. I mean, the truth of the matter, every master set is like that, period. Cards go cheap, and over time they'll rise. And the ones that were reprinted, say like Imperial Recruiter was so there's cards like Imperial Recruiter that was, I think, was printed on the last master set, not this one. But these are cards that are scarce due to not having a good reprint or not having many reprints, and their price is very high due to the fact that they're scarce due to the lack of reprints. Once they get a reprint, their price will tank. A lot of other cards that are tournament staples or commander staples or format staples or whatever, their price will see a dip. And then at the dip, that's the lowest price because they will just only go up over time. A lot of the cards that are scarce due to limited reprint, their price won't recover. So like Imperial Recruiter will never recover to the price it was before. And there's other cards like that get reprinted that you may have more of a window to buy into, but anything that's considered a staple, I would buy now.
There you go. And we got one last question for you, Marcel. Is there any reprint specifically in Double Masters that you like or are happy with?
I mean, specifically, no. All of them. I think they had a lot of hits. I love Doubling Season in general as a card, so maybe Doubling Season.
No Cyclonic Rift.
That card.
Oh, that's such a fun card.
I respect it in your guys' format. I think Blue Sweeper and So when people explain that to me, I understand it, and I think psychotic risk should exist.
There you go. Hot take from Marcel. We appreciate that. Well, awesome. So, Marcel, thank you so much for being on with us. It's our first guest ever. It's been an honor to have it be you, and we really, really appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, don't forget, follow at Marcel MTG on his Twitter. He always got some cool stuff to say about Magic or stuff or food.
Well, thank you. And I mean, I wish I would do more Magic content, and I may do some more additional stuff in the future. But yeah, Magic is a great game. So if you like Magic, just learn it. Like,
That's what I did.
Yeah. It's a great game. It's the arguably the best game ever created when you can adapt it to the way that you want to play. So, yeah, learn it, teach your friends, have fun, get down. Commander's Journey. It's your journey.
There you go. Let's get down. All right. Thanks for listening. Be sure and subscribe if you are going to buy any of these cards, especially the ones on the reserve list. Use our affiliate link below.
Our account is on the reserve list. No.
Yeah, don't.
Do not take that from my statement. Do not buy those cards.
No, that was me. But thank you guys for listening, and we'll see you next time.
See ya.